ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वशास्त्राभिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो। कलिध्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तित परमानंद पाठाय प्रेमवर्षाक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। मदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निस्तारक मद्भाग्य मदानंद नमोऽस्तु ते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतिनीचोच्चताकर हानमुञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णारथकण्ठयो स्फुर। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम की जय। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you in today's session. So we are continuing our discussions from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 2nd, chapter entitled Maharaj Nimi Meets the Nine Yogendras. And in this, till now we have studied first 12 verses of this chapter. So we proceed from there today. So before we go ahead, just a quick recap of where we are. Okay, just give me a minute. So, all right. So this is the chapter. These are the chapter sections. So we have completed first section, Narada's arrival and Vasudeva's inquiry. So in this section, we have seen Narada's arrival in Vasudeva's home palace, and there Vasudeva he expressed his gratitude, his pleasure about Narada's arrival, and then he also submitted his inquiries. So Vasudeva's inquiries they basically consist of two questions. One is the question about Bhagavad Dharma, and then second question is especially about how to be able to conquer material energy, Maya, right? So these questions, when Narad Muni, he is going to answer them. So he is indeed recounting another episode where a similar question was asked. Uh, so this is how we see that Vasudeva's inquiries are placed. So now from text 10 onwards up to text 23, this is the second section where Narada begins to speak about Navayogendras, the episode that has the conversation that has happened between King Nimi and Navayogendras. It is remembered by Narad Muni in order to answer the question of Vasudeva. So in this section, we have seen now Narad Muni first expressed his pleasure towards what Vasudev has asked, the inquiry. He is appreciating that inquiry. So in three verses, verses 11, 12, and 13, Narad Muni appreciates the inquiry that Vasudev has made and then proceeds to speak about the history of this episode on Navayogendra's and Nimi Maharaj's conversation. Okay, so that's how now we are here. We have seen till text 12 and we'll proceed from there. So, yeah. All right. So you can see my screen now. Text 13. त्वया परमकल्याणः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः स्मारितो भगवानद्य देवो नारायणो mama. Okay, so translation. All right, I think Ravindra Sachiputra Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Today you have made me remember my Lord, the supremely blissful personality of Godhead Narayan. The Supreme Lord is so auspicious that whoever hears and chants about him becomes completely pious. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, here we see now, Narad Muni is expressing his gratitude in one more verse, his appreciation also for Katha, and that this topic is raised. He is very happy that the inquiry about Bhagavad Dharma has been made, right? In prior verses also, he appreciated that Vishwa Bhavanan, these principles of Bhagavad Dharma, they are Vishwa Bhavanan. They purify the entire world. And even somebody who is Deva Vishwadruhopihi, even if somebody has offended, Supreme Lord or Devatas or even the whole world, such person also can be purified by taking shelter of the Bhagavad Dharmas. So he is expressing that pleasure and gratitude for bringing up the topic. So here also in this verse, Tvaya Parama Kalyanaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Bhagavan Smaritaha. So by this inquiry, you have reminded me of Lord Narayana, Mama Devaha, Sri Narayana, Bhagavan Narayana, my master, Bhagavan Narayana, Smaritaha. You have made me remember that. Smaritaha. And Lord Narayana is glorified as Parama Kalyanaha or Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. These qualifiers are for Bhagavan here, Bhagavan Narayana. So he is Parama Kalyanaha. He is one who is supremely auspicious. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Punya Shravane Kirtane Yasa. Shravana Kirtane Yasa. One whose Shravanam and Kirtanam is supremely purifying. Punya literally means purifying. Punya. So his Shravanam and Kirtanam, right? It's most purifying. Shrinvatam Svakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Radhyantastho Hyabadrani, Vidhunoti Suritsatam. First canto also. So I'm reminded by you. So this Lord Narayana, it is Lord Narayana who is the worshipable Supreme Lord Narayana. Or it can also refer to Narayana Rishi here, out of Naranarayan, Sage Narayan, who acts as Sri Narada spiritual master. So when Narad Muni is saying that you have reminded me Lord Narayana, so as per Jiva Goswami, you can see, he says, Narayana tadrish dharme madiya guru rupo Narayana rishi smaritaha. So by the word Narayana here, which is here, Narayana, Tadrish Dharme, in the discussion of that Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma, so you have reminded me, okay, I received instructions on this topic by Narayana Rishi, Madhya Guru Rupo. He is he is actually my Guru. Madhya Guru Rupo. Narayana Rishi Smaritaha. इति कृष्णोपासना वेशेन तस्यापि विस्मरणात्. So Srila Jiva Goswami says Narad Muni was like so much absorbed in worshipping Krishna, so much absorbed in witnessing pastimes of Krishna, worshipping Krishna, glorifying Krishna, that he had even forgotten his Guru. See, this forgetfulness is not like conditioned soul's forgetfulness. The manner in which spoken, it is this way that Narad Muni was so much absorbed in Krishna Leela and so much focused on Krishna's pastimes. And right, we in the beginning also we heard that how Narad Muni was always constantly there in Dwaraka only. Even though he would go around, he would come back. So he was reminded of his Guru Narayana Rishi. Of course, Narada received instructions also from Brahmaji, but especially from sage Narayan also. He understood a lot of principles of Bhagavad, right? Bhagavata Dharma. There is this whole discussion in Prayers by Personified Vedas, 87th chapter of 10th canto, how Narad Muni there he asked a question. He once went to Badrikashram and he asked a question to sage Narayana Rishi. Nara and Narayan both are two personalities, but they are usually together. So that's why sometimes they are spoken as one Narayana Rishi. So out of that Narayana is Lord himself, while Nara is incarnation of Arjuna. So incarnation in the sense you can say Amsha. Nara and Narayan are Amshas of Krishna and Arjuna. And Jiva Goswami, 4th canto, where the birth of Narayan has been spoken. So this sage Narayan, he had instructed Narad Muni in principles of Bhagavad Dharma. And that's why Narad Muni is reminded of him. So he is reminded of him, meaning that particular episode and those instructions Narad Muni got reminded of. Otherwise, he was just absorbed in Krishna Leela. And so that's why he is saying like this, that, oh, now by your question, I am remembering now my Guru and how he instructed me in Bhagavad Dharma, that particular aspect. So that's how. So Krishnopasana aveshena. There is avesha. There is so much of absorption, overwhelming absorption in Krishna's worship that he had forgotten about. That was not there. It had gone in back of his mind. So he was made to remember Narayan Rishi and his instructions on Bhagavad Dharma. So that's the point. Absorbed in worshipping Krishna, he had forgotten even his Guru in that sense of absorption. So, proper disciples. Srila Jiva Goswami has stated, Narayanas tadrash dharbe madiya guru rupo Narayana rishihi. The word Narayan in this verse refers to incarnation of Godhead Narayana Rishi, who acted as Narada spiritual master in this dharma. So, same point. The word Smarita, he is brought back to memory, indicates that because of Narada's absorption in worship of Krishna, he had forgotten Lord Naranarayan. In other words, if intense engagement in devotional service makes one sometimes forget the personality of Godhead, by Krishna's arrangement, such a sincere servitor will again be reminded of the personality of Godhead. So, point is, sometimes even during the course of service, we may forget about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but that forgetfulness may not be like because of absorption. It may be because of our lack of love or affection for the Supreme Lord. So otherwise, if we have great love and devotion, then the object of worship is not forgotten, right? So similarly, in case of Narada, forgetfulness is not like us. It is completely because of that overwhelming sweetness of Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila that is there. But a lesson is being provided also here by Prabhupada's disciple that if intense engagement in devotional service makes one sometimes forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? In our cases, it may happen sometimes because of Rajoguna, right? So in the service, Rajoguna may take over and then we might forget sometimes aspects of Vaishnava dealing or Vaishnava principles or Supreme Lord, or for it is that it's for pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So in our case, it may happen because of Rajoguna or like that. So, but then by Lord's arrangement, if someone is sincere, then Lord will again remind the original purpose for what we have begun this entire effort of serving. So that has to be reminded again and again. Otherwise, nature of this world is things go down, right? We may begin with some very noble motive, but if you are not striving to keep the purity of that, then we see that things dwindle and things go to Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and original purpose of Krishna Priti, of Krishna's pleasure, may be forgotten completely. So Krishna makes that arrangement that then a sincere devotee is reminded like that. So from transcendental level of Narada's forgetfulness, a point is being made by which is relevant for sadhaka bhaktas also. Okay, so we'll move ahead. Text 14. Atrapyudaharantimam itihasam puratanam आर्षभानां च संवादं विदेहस्य महात्मनः. Okay, so Anand Manjari Mataji, you want to read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandantanam. Today you have made me remember my Lord.
This one, Mataji, text 14.
Oh, so I can't see that. Okay, I'll just.
Oh, you can't see that? You can
yes,
read from
I
the
can.
Vedabase.
I can.
I am showing the Vedabase screen also on my screen.
Okay. To explain the devotional service of the Lord, sages have related the ancient history of the conversation between the great soul king Videha and the sons of Rishabh.
Thank you. So, yes, atrapi udaharanti imam itihasam puratanam. Atrapi, and in this matter of Bhagavad Dharma, you have asked for principles of Bhagavad Dharma, right? Bhagavatan Dharman. So atrapi, as far as this matter is concerned, in this matter also of describing Bhagavad Dharma, udaharanti, it is spoken as an example. Ke udaharanti, who speak? Well, Kavayah udaharanti. The great sages speak about this particular example. Udaharanti, meaning wise people or sages or devotees, they quote this example of conversation between Videha and Arshabhas, and the sons of Rishabhas. Imam Itihasam Puratanam. This is a very old history. So, in the matter of Bhagavad Dharma, although it is spoken by Lord Narayana, Narayan Rishi, but the example of this particular conversation is quoted by followers, quoted by devotees. So he is speaking about this old history. What is the old history? It is basically samvada. It is conversation that happened between Arshabhas. Rishabha's sons are known as Arshabhas. Arsha, which means Rishehe Tatarsham. That which belongs to Rishi is known as Arsha, or that which belongs to Rishabha is Arshabha. So Arshabhanam. So these sons of Rishabhadev, called as Navayogendras. So their conversation happened with Mahatma Videha. Videha is the king of Mithila, king of Mithila. So Videha is again a title, Janaka or Videha. These are all titles which are for the kings of Mithila. So this Videha, many personalities are named as Videha, or even Janaka. Like Mother Sita's father is known as Janaka, right? But other kings also of Mithila, they are known as Janaka. Prior kings also known as Janaka or Videha, like that. So this particular conversation that has happened between these great personalities, that is King Videha or Nimi, he is also known as Nimi, and the sons of Rishabdev called as Navayogendras. That is spoken here as the example. Shrilajiv Goswami. Atra Shri Narayanopadishta Dharmepi Udaharanti Smaranti Tatshechyaha iti Mahatmya Visheshaya Uktam. So in this matter of Bhagavad Dharma, Shri Narayana Upadishta Dharmepi. So the Dharma instructed by Shri Narayan Rishi here. So the wise sages, they remember the example of Udaharanti means Smaranti, he has said. Udaharanti can mean speak, they speak, or they remember, Smaranti. Tat Shishyaha, the students. Students remember, Sri Narayana students or their students, whatever, Tat Shishyaha, basically. So they remember this history. Iti Mahatmya Visheshaya Uktam. So this shows the greatness or glory of that episode, that this particular Bhagavad Dharma, it is instructed by Narayana Rishi, but then the students, they do quote this history. So it is very much in line of what Sri Narayan Rishi explained. So those same principles have been explained by personalities here, Navayogendras. So that's why the special glory of this episode is that it is quoted. It is quoted whenever the topic of Bhagavad Dharma comes. It is quoted. So this is the thing that is mentioned to show the special glory. All right. So Prabhupada disciples. The words Itihasam Puratanam, meaning ancient historical account, are significant here. So Itihasas and Puranas, right? They are very significant historical accounts. Hmm? Just a minute. Some call. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is also one of the Puranas, in fact, the best of the Puranas. And this Itihasas and Puranas, they are not some mythological accounts, but they are factual histories of our universe, right? So, even in Tattva Sandarbha Srila Jiva Goswami, in Praman Khanda, he has extensively gone in very great details in order to speak that, especially Samprati meaning Kalo Yuge, in Kali Yuga, Itihas Puranatmak Shabda Eva Nirnayakaha. He says this. Actually, if you talk about Vedic scriptures, practically, just 6% of Vedic scriptures are what is available now. By Vedic scriptures, I especially mean the original Vedas. So if you talk about original Vedas, Riksam, Yaju, Atharva, and if you refer to how many Brahmanas, Samhitas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads should be available, so if you see, only 5-6% of that is available. Purva Puran describes the total number of branches that Vyasadeva made of each one of the Vedas. Right? Like Samaved was split into 1,000 branches, and Rigveda was split into 100 branches. Yajurveda was split into 100, and similarly, I think Atharva was split into 9 branches. Rigveda was split into 21 branches. So the whole thing, if you see how many branches were made and how many are available today, how many Samhitas are available today, how many Brahmanas are available today. So one of the contemporary Vaishnava scholars, he has made that analysis. And if you see, it is just 5-6%. From the Riksam, Yaju, Atharva, it is only 5-6%, that's all. So that's why what becomes very important in Kali Yuga is the Itihasas and Puranas, which are not lost. They are there in their full form, intact. So in Praman Khanda, Jiva Goswami is, he drives us to this aspect that Itihasas and Puranas, in fact, in Kali Yuga, they are always important, but especially in Kali Yuga, because you don't have access to the Shrutis so much. Most of the Shrutis are gone, the original Vedas. So that's why this Itihasas and Puranas become extremely important, because they are available and they have the same nature. They are called as Panchama Veda. So they are actually fifth Veda. So the whole message is Vedic only, but it is available. It is not lost. And it is also very simplified. It is explained by the stories and by examples. Vedas don't speak so many stories and all that. And they are more imperative. There are more, it's more like orders, right? Even Vopadeva, he speaks about that. Vedas speak like master. Vedas speak like, do this, don't do this. This should be done, this should not be done. Like that, the Vani of the Vedas is, it's imperative. It is in tenses such as Lotlaka or Vidhiling in Sanskritam. These are imperative statements. Tad vijnanartham sagurum eva abhigachet, meaning you must go and take shelter of the Guru. So Vopadev, in one of his verses, he says that Vedas speak like great master. And then Itihasas and Puranas, they speak like friend. They speak like a friend, how a friend speaks, right? He speaks about what is good, what is not good. You should do this. If you don't do this, then this will happen. So when friends speak, they don't speak like an order. No, they speak in terms of pros and cons, and then the friend is convinced, yes, I agree that this is good for me. That's how friends speak, right? So Puranas speak like that. And Kavyas, the poetries, especially, they speak like a Priya, like lover. Uh, they speak like lover and beloved. They are even more intimate in speaking. The poetries, especially the devotional poetries and all, he's speaking about the Kavyas. But Bhagavatam speaks in all three manners. That's how Bopadev has glorified Bhagavatam. It speaks in all three ways. It speaks like a master whenever needed. It speaks like a friend, and it also speaks like a beloved, very intimately inviting the conditioned souls to take shelter of Krishna. So that's how these Itihasas and Puranas are very significant when it comes to especially today's age and time. And then within those Puranas, Jiva Goswami goes on to build up that case. The Satvik Puranas are the highest. And amongst the Satvik Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest. So like that, he has built up. So although mundane scholars have foolishly tried to depict Bhagavatam as a mythological work or a recent creation, the actual fact is that Srimad Bhagavatam is perfect transcendental literature. So there were a lot of misconceptions about Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was thought to be written by Bopadev, but Bopadev only glorified Srimad Bhagavatam. He did never claimed that he wrote it. That idea was popularized by some of the Shakta worshippers who were who did not accept the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. They were a bit envious on that front. So that's why the whole idea was propagated that Srimad Bhagavatam is actually not written by Vyasadeva but by Vopadev. We have addressed this idea in the initial session. You all remembered in first session I spoke about this. So this is also addressed by Baladev Vidyabhushan in a book called as Siddhanta Darpana. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it's actually an authentic literature which is the best of the Puranas, and it has taken the pastimes also in such a way that it focuses completely on pure devotional service. See, in different kalpas, there are different pastimes. Like same Vritrasur. Now, Vritrasur, this personality called Vritrasur, so in different kalpas, there are different Vritrasuras, and those pastimes or those particular stories, they vary in their descriptions. Like Mahabharata describes Vritrasur. Rigved also describes Vritrasur. And there is description of Vritrasur even, of course, in Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about that particular pastime of Vritrasur, where Vritrasur is a pure devotee. If you look at Bhagavatam's Vritrasur and you compare it with Rigveda's Vritrasur, there's gulf of difference. That personality in Rigveda, who is Vritrasura story, there also it comes. But there you see he is a demon and he is giving a great trouble. It's not that he is a devotee. He is giving great trouble to Indra and all. When Indra kills him, then Indra is glorified as the hero. This is not how Bhagavatam speaks about Vritrasur. When Indra is killing Vritrasur, in fact, Indra is not seen as a hero, right? Indra himself becomes also very despondent. And he also suffers reaction because Vritrasur was, although born in a demoniac family by the arrangement of the Lord, but Vritrasur was actually a Mahabhagavat devotee. So, because of that great sin or aparadha of killing Vritrasur, although he was ordained, agreed, but still the fact that he was Indra was also attached to his post and position. So the whole episode actually portrays Indra as not the hero, but Vritrasur as the hero. And it is a fact because Vritrasur was a Mahabhagavad devotee, while Indra is showing there the nature of a Paramamishra Bhakta, a mixed devotee who is attached to the provision that is given to him. So this is how Bhagavatam speaks actually. If you see Rigveda's Vritrasur, the story is not like this. Indra is the hero. If you see Mahabharata's Vritrasur, there also Vritrasur is a demon. He's trying to trick the demigods, but then still he's tricked and he's then killed. So that's how Shukdev has picked up the stories in Bhagavatam. It is very, very special actually. Best of the stories from various Manvantaras, they have been brought up by Shukadev, and this unique focus on pure devotional service is maintained in this. Even when you read these stories in other Puranas, you may not see that kind of focus coming out of pure devotional service. Stories of Dhruva, they are there in other Puranas also. But then if you see the way Bhagavatam brings out that devotional service, so that's the uniqueness. And that's why it is known as Amala Purana. It is glorifying Ashraya every moment. Every pada, yatra pratipado Krishno giyate bahudarshibhi. Padma Purana also speaks that. It says that Bhagavatam is the best of Puranas because in every pada, in every word of Bhagavatam, Krishna is being glorified. Krishna giyate bahudha. In multiple ways he is glorified, right? What are those multiple ways? Bhagavatam second canto says, what is that? Varnayanti Mahatmana Shrutena Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanamiha Lakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmana Shrutena Charthena Chanjasa. Sometimes Bhagavatam glorifies Krishna Shrutena directly. Sometimes it glorifies Arthena, meaning indirectly, Tatparya Vritti. And that's how Sridhar Swami has translated Tatparya Vrittya. The import of the episode is to glorify Krishna. But every single verse of Bhagavatam is glorifying Krishna. Either it is by the aspect of direct glorification, Ashraya, like the prayers, Stutyadishu, it is called Shrutena, by direct way, or it is Arthena, it is by the import. The import of the story is surely going to be Krishna's glorification. So this is a very special way Bhagavatam has been spoken and written down by Vyasadeva. This is not how other Puranas do actually. Of course, they may do in bits and pieces. We are not saying Ashraya Tattva is there in every Mahapurana. But the way Bhagavatam, it describes every pastime, is always bringing in connection to Ashraya. So it's a very beautiful verse. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanami Lakshanam. All the 9 topics are described in order to glorify the 10th topic only. Either direct way or indirect way. It's 10th canto's 10th topics, Ashraya's glorification only. Okay, fine. It is essential that we hear these historical narrations, such as the conversation between Navayogendras and King Videha, with complete faith and submission. So we hear this in faith and submission. People consider it as sometimes mythological work, or they have their doubts and all. But as devotees who understand Paurusheya Shabda Praman is the highest, so we understand that these are not just fictitious stories or something, no, but these are actual histories. Those who are inclined to enrich their intellectual life through the study of history should educate themselves in the historical narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. This will bring them the perfection of intellectual and spiritual life. So Prabhupada would also speak so much fondly about this, that this is the best intellectual and satisfying engagement for anyone who has intelligence. Bhagavatam is the most devotionally, intellectually emotionally nourishing scripture. All right, so text 15. Priyabrato nama suto manoho swayam bhuvasya yah tasyagnidhrasya tato nabhirrishabhas tatsutah svatah. Okay, so yeah, Gopi Gita Mataji, you want to read? Or Arundhati Mataji, you want to read? Anyone?
Hare
Okay.
Krishna Prabhu Chaldi.
Yeah.
Nilachal. Sorry, another
Yes.
Mataji wanted to read? No problem.
No, Mataji, you go ahead. Nilachal Mataji.
Swayambhuva Manu had a son named Maharaj Priyavrat, and among Priyavrat's sons was Agnidhra. From Agnidhra was born Nabhi, whose son was known as Rishabdev.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So now he begins to speak about the history. So for that, he just describing the dynasty of the Arshabhas, the dynasty of Rishabdeva's sons. So for that purpose, now he is describing this. So 7 verses, he will describe the dynasty of Navayogendras. Dynasty especially means the prior descendants. So starting from Priyavrat, who is son of Swayambhu Manu. Priyabrato nama sutaha manoho Swayambhuvasya yaha. So Swayambhu Manu had 2 sons, Priyavrat and Uttanapada, right? So son Priyavrat, he had one of his sons was Agnidhra, and Agnidra's son was Nabhi, who became father of Rishabhadeva. So this is all there in the 5th canto. Initial chapters, you have seen this. So Sridhar Swami says, Arshabhanam utpattim sanvayam vivicya kathayati Priyavrata iti saptabhihi. In 7 verses, starting with this verse, he describes the birth of sons of Rishabdeva along with the description of dynasty. Arshabhanam utpatti, the birth of the sons of Rishabdeva. And it is spoken Sanvaya. Anvaya means Vamsha Vistara. Anvaya means the description of dynasty. Anvaya word also has that meaning. So Sanvayam Vivicya Kathayati. So he describes about the sons of Rishabdeva, but before that he also gives the description of that dynasty. Okay, further. Tamahur Vasudevamsham Moksha Dharma Vivakshaya Avatirnam Sutas Shatam Tasyasid Brahma Paragam. Okay, Mataji, I think you can continue reading. These verses will be done quickly. So
Myself? Nilachal?
Yes, Nilachal Chandrika Mataji. Yes.
Srila Rishabdev is accepted as an expansion of the Supreme Lord, Vasudev. He incarnated in this world to propagate those religious principles that lead living entities to ultimate liberation. He had 100 sons, all perfect in Vedic knowledge.
Yeah, thank you. So, Tam Ahur Vasudevamsham. So, Rishabdev was actually Vasudevamsham. He was a plenary portion of Lord Vasudeva. So, he is Supreme Lord himself, Rishabdeva. And he avatirnam, he appeared in this world for what? Moksha dharma vivakshaya. Vivaksha is the desire to speak. Vivaksha. So he appeared with the desire to speak or propagate, instruct into moksha dharma, the process of attaining liberation. Right? So Rishabdeva's instructions are very popular. Rishabdeva's instructions to his 100 sons. So that is moksha dharma. Of course, moksha dharma, understand devotional service. He is speaking also there about devotional service only. So That was the purpose. He showed the example of what is Vairagya, Vairagya and Vidya, and he also propagated what is Moksha Dharma, how to become liberated, how to attain the liberation from the material energy. So he is Lord himself, Vasudevamsham. And Suta Shatam Tasyasid Brahma Paragam, and he had 100 sons who were all Brahma Paraga. They were all very, very learned scholars of Vedas. Param Gachati Saha Paraga. One who goes to the other end is called Paraga. Brahma Paraga means one who has studied Vedas end to end. Brahma word here is meaning Veda. Brahma word means Veda in many places, right? Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. There also. The meaning is Vedic knowledge or Veda. Brahmachari also. In this name, Brahmachari, the meaning is that Brahmani Charati Saha Brahmachari. One who always ruminates or relishes the Vedic scriptures, meaning the Shastra, the knowledge of Shastra. One who is delighting always, one who is ruminating on those, that is called a Brahmachari. Like that. That's the yogic meaning, that's the etymological meaning of the word. But it can also mean a certain portion called as portion of Varnashrama, ashrama called as Brahmachari. It can refer to that specific section who is a celibate student, that is a Brahmachari. But etymologically, anyone who absorbs himself in the study of the Vedas, and that's what typically Swadhyaya, that was the first thing, foremost thing for a Brahmachari. What is a Brahmachari who is not doing his Swadhyaya? So that's why Brahmachari. So Brahma Paragam, they were perfectly assimilated. They had perfectly studied and understood the Vedas. Brahma Paragam, all these 100 sons also. So yeah, we can see here. So they were also very great personalities, all of them very learned. So out of them only 9 are Navayogendras. Yes. So next verse. Tesham vai bharato jeshto narayana parayana vikyatam varshametat yannamna bharatam adbhutam. Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Of the
Nirashan
100
Chandrika Mataji? Yeah, continue.
Yes, sorry, I was muted.
No
Of the
problem.
100 sons of Lord Rishabdev, the eldest, Bharat, was completely devoted to Lord Narayan. It is because of Bharat's fame that this planet is now celebrated as a great
Bharatavarsha. Yes. So, amongst the sons of Rishabdev, Tesham vai Bharato Jeshto, the eldest was Bharata Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj, his story is there in the 5th canto. Narayana Parayana, and he was a great devotee of Lord Narayana, completely devoted to Lord Narayana. Vikyatam Varsham Etad Yannamna Bharatam Adbhutam. And because of him only, this Bharat Varsha, which was before known as Ajanabha Varsha. So Ajanabha Varsha became known as Bharata Varsha because of the great fame of Maharaj Bharata. He was ruling, so then it became as Bharata Varsha. Sridhar Swami. Tesham Rishabh Sutanam Madhye Nava Yogeshwaranam Charitam Vaktum Itaresam Charitam Tatah Vivicha Aha Tesham. So now in order to speak about the Nava Yogendras or Nava Yogeshwaras, so he speaks about the other sons of Brahma, other sons of Rishabha first. Itaresham Charitam Tatah Vivicha. So he first speaks about the other sons of Rishabdeva, like Bharat Maharaj and the others, and then he speaks about the Navayogendras, the topic at hand. So this is how. All right, so I think that's all. Yes. Sabhukta bhogam tyaktvemam nirgatastapasa harim upasinas tatpadvim lebhe vai janma bhistrivihi. Yes.
King Bharat rejected this material world, considering all types of material pleasure temporary and useless. Leaving his beautiful young wife and family, he worshipped Lord Hari by severe austerities and attained the abode of the Lord after 3 lifetimes.
Yeah. So, sabhukta bhogam tyaktva imam. So he ruled the this planet for a long time. He enjoyed the worldly royal opulence, and then he gave up that, and he nirgataha tapasa harim, and then he just left everything to worship Lord Hari. Then going in the forest, he worshipped Lord Hari. His story is there in 5th canto. Tapasa harim upasinaha. So he worshipped Lord Hari by performing devotional penance. And then Tat Padavim Lebhe, and finally he achieved the residence of Lord Hari. But Vai Janma Bhistribhi, but in 3 births he attained the Lord's abode. Tat Padavi, the destination he achieved. So we know that how Bharat Maharaj, he went and by Lord's arrangement, in fact, he became attached to a deer. Although there is a lesson to be learned from that pastime of Vishwanath Chakravarti says that how one should stay under the shelter of Guru, shelter of Guru Janas. So Gurvashray is very important. So in order to show that aspect of always being under the shelter of Guru, we see that that aspect of association of especially the Guru Janas. So this whole episode was arranged, but there we see that from Bhava platform, this Bharat Maharaj is falling and becoming attached to a deer, which is a thing which does not happen like that, right? Nobody falls from bhava or prema in that manner due to some attachment to a mundane deer. But the episode was arranged by the Lord in order to intensify the remembrance, intensify smarana vardhanartham, intensify that longing to attain Krishna so much. Bharat Maharaj became extremely, then after that particular incident in the deer body, and then as Jada Bharata, he was like intensely attached and focused on the Supreme Lord. So in order to, sometimes Krishna does that with his great devotees also in order to expedite their attainment. So that's what he did with even Chitraketu or here Bharat Maharaj. Yes, but in 3 births, then Bharat Maharaj, he attained the Supreme Lord. So that idea has been spoken. Okay. Further. Tesham nava dvipa patayosya samantatah karma tantra pranetara ekashitir dvijatayah. Yes.
9 of the remaining sons of Rishabdev became the rulers of the 9 islands of Bharatavarsh, and they exercised complete sovereignty over this planet. 81 sons became twice-born Brahmanas and helped initiate the Vedic path of fruitive sacrifices, Karmakand.
Yeah, thank you. So, 100 sons of Rishabdev, right? Out of them, 9 became Navadvipapatayah Asya. So they became the rulers of 9 islands of the Bharatvarsha. So they became the rulers, 9. Bharata was, he was himself the ruler of entire tract of land, complete. And of course, later he renounced. But these 9, they remained as the kings of those 9 islands of the Bharatvarsha, islands like Aryavarta and all that. So that was the 9 plus Bharat 10. And then 81 became very great Brahmanas, expert in Karma Tantra Pranetara. They became expert ritualistic Brahmanas, fruity Vedic sacrifices. So they became great experts of that particular. So they sort of propagated the path of karma, the path of karma, karma kand, karma tantra pranetara. So 81 plus these 10, meaning 81 plus Bharat Maharaj. So that is 82 plus these 9 others who became the rulers. So that is 91. And then rest of the 9 are the Navayogendras. So that's how 100 sons of Brahma, 100 sons of Rishabdev. So they have taken up different, you can say, Varnas. 9 of them are pure devotees, Mahabhagavatas, Navayogendras. Rishabdev also, like Bharat Maharaj also, he is a pure devotee, right? So these are specially glorified, especially. Then the great kings who became the rulers of 9 islands of Bharatvarsha. And then finally 81 were Brahmanas who propagated the path of Karma Kand. So they all have taken different sort of varnas. So sometimes Prabhupada would quote this example to show that how the varna is not based upon birth, but it is guna and karma. Guna karma vibhagashah, right? Because here we see that 100 sons of Rishabdeva, who is king, who was the emperor. So, but then not all of them are becoming Kshatriyas. So, some of them are becoming Paramhamsas, others are continuing to be the kings, Kshatriyas, while yet others are becoming the Brahmanas, ritualistic Karmakand Brahmanas. So, in this way, we see that different varnas being taken by them. So, now he speaks about the Navayogendras. Nava Bhavan Mahabhaga Munayo Hyartha Shamsinaha Shramana Vatarasana Atma Vidya Visharadaha Kavir Havir Antarikshaha Prabudhaha Pitpalayanaha Avirhotroth Drumilash Chamasah Karabhajanaha. All right. So, yes, Mataji, you
Can't see
can
that.
see. Okay.
Yeah. The 9 remaining sons of Rishabdev were greatly fortunate sages who worked vigorously to spread knowledge of the absolute truth. They wandered about naked and were very well versed in spiritual science. Their names were Kavi, Havis, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa, and Karabhajana.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So you can see these personalities. Nava Bhavan, 9 became what? Mahabhaga Munayohi Artha Shamsina. So 9 of those 100 sons, they were the greatly fortunate souls, and they became Artha Shamsina. These munis, they became Artha Shamsina. So Artha Shamsina means they engaged in explaining Paramartha. Shamsina. Shams dhatu is there, which means to speak or to glorify, as in words like prashamsa. So Shamsinaha means those who spoke, those who glorified, those who instructed. About what? Artha Shamsinaha. Artha here means Paramartha actually. Artha means that which is really valuable, which means Paramartha, which means the absolute truth. So they became the propagators, proponents of spiritual subject matter, absolute truth. They became the proponents of transcendental subject matter, Paravidya, devotional service, we can say, Bhagavad Dharma. Shramana. So these 9 were mendicants. They were mendicants. They did not enter any household life or anything. They just were celibate mendicants. Shramana. Shramana means a mendicant, a sannyasi. That's a standard meaning of Shramana. But it also has that etymological meaning which is given by Sridhar Swami. So Shramana, you must be knowing this. Even in Gaudiya Math and all, this word is there very much for sannyasis. Shramana, Shramana, like that. Vata Rasana, they were said to be, basically these personalities, Vata Rasana. Rasana means the clothes. Vata Rasana, they were dressed by the wind, meaning they did not wear any clothes. They were like completely avadhut kind of beings, transcendental. They didn't have even that kind of bodily conception or like that. So they just roamed everywhere, dressed by the directions or dressed by the wind. Vata Rasana. Atma Vidya Visharadaha. And they were very greatly learned people in Atma Vidya, in the transcendental subject matter, self-realization. Who were they? So their names are spoken. Kavihi, Kavi, Havihi, Havi, Antarikshaha, Prabuddhaha, Pippalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa, Karabhajana. Vamshidhar in his commentary even gives the meanings of these names. Vamshidhar is one commentator who is very fond of giving etymologies. So he speaks many times in many places about etymologies of the names. So he even analyzes the meanings of the names of these personalities. So all these 9 were like very, very special sages, and they are glorified. Sridhar Swami, Artha Shamsinaha Paramartha Nirupakaha. Sridhar Swami says Artha Shamsinaha means Paramartha Nirupakaha. They propagated or they gave the exegesis and they explained Nirupakaha, Nirupanam. They explained what is the spiritual science, Paramartha, supreme spiritual science. Paramartha, meaning they did not speak about Karmakand or any such paths, but they spoke only about the transcendental spiritual subject, Paramartha. Shramanaha Shramavantaha Atmabhyase Krita Shrama iti arthaha. Sridhar Swami gives sort of etymological meaning of Shramana. What does the Shramana mean? Mendicant. Literally it means Shramavantaha. Those who possess Shrama. Shramavantah, Shramavan bolte na, Dhanavan, like that Shramavan. Those who possess Shrama, Atmabhyase Krita Shrama iti arthaha. Actually, they had done great Shrama. They had taken great efforts for practicing self-realization. So, Shramana has the sense of not being lazy actually. One who is Krita Shrama, one who has taken great effort, labor, one who labors hard for Atma Bhyase, for the practice of self-realization. Such person is called as Shramana. Even in words such as ashrama, that the same sense is there. Ashrama. And there is Shramanam there. there is very great efforts, labor for the sake of self-realization, pleasure of Krishna, pleasure of devotees, pleasure of Guru. So that Shramanam aspect is there. So these are also known as Shramanaha, especially Atmabhyase Krita Shrama. They had taken great Shrama, they had taken great efforts in practicing self-realization, and they were perfected beings. They were self-realized souls. Vatarasana Digambaraha. Vatarasana means they were dressed only by the directions. Dik Ambaraha. Rasana is same as Ambaraha. Ambara means Vastra. Ambaram, Vastra. Right? Pitambaram, Nilambaram. So Krishna is Pitambara, Pitambaradharo Krishna. Shri Radha is Nilambara. So that's how. So that Ambara word means the Vastra. So Dik Ambara, those who were dressed only by the directions. Same as Vatarasana, like that. Atma Vidyayam Visharadaha, Nishnadaha. Atma Visharadaha means what? They were Nishnat, they were great experts in Atma Vidya. Atma Vidya is what? It's the science of transcendental subject matter. It's transcend. Atma Vidya means one who knows the difference between body and soul, and he can explain what is Atma, what is Paramatma, and the energies of Supreme Lord. That aspect of Atma Vidya. So Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya is considered highest. In Vedic scriptures, Karmakand, that is called basic dharma, athato dharma jidnyasa, and that's the first Mimamsa Sutra. Jaimini speaks athato dharma jidnyasa. So knowing about the Karmakand, knowing about the sacrifices by which we can fulfill our desires, Varnashrama duties and all that, that is Dharma Vidya only. It is still within the category of Dharma. But Atma Vidya is when one starts talking about soul, starts talking about the super soul. That is Atma Vidya. So that is Brahma Vidya or Brahma Jidnyasa, this way. So this word is used for anything that starts talking about transcendental subject matter, like paths of jnana or paths of yoga, and what to speak of path of bhakti. And that's the highest Atma Vidya, the best of Atma Vidya. So these were the great Mahabhagavatas actually. They were pure devotees of Krishna, pure devotees of the Lord, and they were greatest experts in Atma Vidya. So that's how they are glorified. So here, Prabhupada's disciples have done a very nice analysis of these sages when they met King Nimi Videha. So what were their questions in this section? So I have just put these questions based on the purport only. These questions which are asked by Nimi Maharaj to these sons of Rishabdev, Jayanteyas. So you can see these are the questions. 9 questions have been asked like that. So Ishvara Prabhu, do you want to read these questions, Prabhu? We will just go through this.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah.
1. What is the highest good?
Yeah.
Second.
So just a minute. When you read them, I will have some comments. What is the highest good? You can see this question is being asked in this particular chapter only, 2.30. Atyantika Shreyo, what is that? Highest good. This question is about Bhagavad Dharma only. So this will be answered in this chapter in 33rd to 43. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Second, what are the religious principles, dharma, natural proclivities, svabhava, behavior, achara, speech, vakya, and outward symptoms, lakshana, of a Bhagavata, a Vaishnava devotee of the Lord?
Yes, thank you. So this is another question in this same chapter. 2 enquiries. Initially also we saw that, right? 2 enquiries are made by Maharaj Nimi here. And this second question will concern about dharma, swabhava, speech. So in this answer only there is discussion of three kinds of adhikaris, three kinds of devotees. So it's a very important discussion, Kanishtha, Madhyama, all that. Yes, bro, go ahead.
Third question. What is the
Third.
external Vishnu, the Supreme Lord?
What is the external energy? Maya. That's one of the very important discussions that has happened here, right? Because liberation, mukti is the topic here. Mukti is the topic of 11th canto. So how to be liberated from Maya? This topic is coming up in the next chapter. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Fourth question. How can one become disassociated from this Maya?
Yes, further.
Fifth question. What is the true identity of Brahman?
Yeah. So you can see these questions are the typical verses. I mean, the verse in which that question is asked, that is placed in the bracket. And the next highlighted one or bold, that is the answer. So that answer also is being spoken here. So out of 9 questions, the 5th is what is the true identity of Brahman? Yeah. Further, Prabhu.
Next question. What are the 3 types of karma? Namely, karma based on the enjoyment of the fruits of work, karma offered to the Supreme Lord, and Naishkarmya.
Yeah. Further.
What are the various, number 7, what are the various pastimes of the various incarnations of God?
Yes, Prabhu.
8th one, what is the aim or destination of one who is against the Supreme Lord and devoid of bhakti? In other words, a non-devotee.
Yes, and the last.
9th one, what are the respective colors, forms, and names of the 4 Yugavatharas, the 4 incarnations of the Supreme Lord who appear in the 4 ages, and what is the process of worshipping each of them?
Yeah. So you can say this is basically a complete overview of Nimi and Navayogendra Samvad. And there are 9 questions which are asked. So out of which 2 are asked in this chapter. Then further 4 are asked in 3rd chapter. Then 4th chapter has 1 question and finally 2 questions in the 5th chapter. So these are the questions and these are very wonderful answers here, which describes many wonderful concepts of Bhagavad Dharma. So that is it. So we go ahead because these verses, as I said, there is not much commentary, so we can quickly finish this and come to the Nime Maharaja's inquiry. So Ishwar Prabhu, you can continue reading now for the further verses. Thank you, Nilachal Chandrika Mataji. Ishwar Prabhu, you can continue.
Thank you.
Tayete
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Bhagavad. Yeah, thank you. Tayete Bhagavad Rupam Vishwam Sad Asadatmakam Atmanah Vyatirekena Pashyanto Vyacharan Mahim. Yes, Prabhu.
Translation. These sages wandered the earth, seeing the entire universe with all its gross and subtle objects as a manifestation of the Supreme Lord and as non-different from the self.
Yeah, thank you. So these 9 sages now, they are being talked about because we are going to talk about the conversation between Navayogendras and Nimi. Te ete Bhagavad Rupam Vishwam Pashyantaha. So when they wandered over the earth, Vyacharan Mahim, so they saw this whole Vishwa, this whole universe as Bhagavad Rupam. They saw it as manifestation of the Supreme Lord. This whole universe is said to be Sad Asad Atmakam, because there are gross and subtle objects in this universe. So it is said to be Sad Asad Atmakam. And they saw this as Lord's manifestation only. Atmanaha Avyatirekena. Atmanaha Avyatirekena. So they saw that it is non-different than the self, meaning it is non-different than the Lord. Or you can say it is non-different from themselves also. See, basically it is espousing the idea of achintya bheda bheda. When it is mentioned that when they went all over the earth, everywhere, they saw this place, this whole world, universe as Lord's form, meaning that they saw it as Lord's material energies transformation. Or Jiva Goswami says they saw in a way that everywhere they went, there was spurti, there was this internal inspiration of the Lord. Wherever they went, they would remember the Supreme Lord, that inspiration, spurti, everywhere it would come to them. So, in that particular sense, Sridhar Swami, Tesham paramhamsya charitamah ta ete iti dvabhyam. Two verses talk about their being the Paramhamsas. Their nature as Paramhamsas is spoken in two verses. So these verses 22 and 23 are talking about their Paramhamsa nature. Sadasad Atmakam Sthula Sukshma Rupam. And this universe is described with the qualifier Sadasad Atmakam. Yeah, because this universe is containing gross and subtle forms, right? So that's why Sthula and Sukshma Rupa. Sat, Asat words are used in different sense, especially when you talk about the material world. Sat, Asat, it can be used. It is used as gross and subtle matter. Just like we see that even in the Ruther, no, not in Rutyartham. Aham eva samevagre nanyad yat sad asat param, right? There also. Krishna says that I only existed in the beginning. I alone existed. That time there was no Sat, there was no Asat, or there was no Param also. Na Anyat, nothing else was there. Sat, Asat. So there Sat, Asat means gross and subtle forms, and Param means Pradhan, which is beyond gross and subtle. Gross and subtle is only after it is manifested, no? But Pradhan is beyond that also. It is unmanifest. So Lord is saying that in the beginning only I existed. That time neither there were gross forms, neither subtle forms, nor the cause of them, which is Karana, which is Prakriti, Param. Even Prakriti was not there. Meaning all these things were merged in me. And there was no separate existence. They had merged within me. So he's talking about that time of before creation, where everything is merged within Mahavishnu. So Sat Asat. Krishna is using Sat Asat in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as matter and spirit. So Sat Asat is used in different sense, cause and effect, or subtle and gross, or matter and spirit. So depending on the context. Here, this universe, Sadasat Atmakam, means that it is made up of gross and subtle forms. So wherever they went, they saw this universe as energy of Krishna, or they got the Spurti. Jiva Goswami says, Bhagavataha Rupam Spurtir Yatra Tadrasham Pashantaha. They saw the world as the place where Lord Spurti manifests. Because they were Mahabhagavatas. Wherever they went, Ishtadeve Spurti. Right? It is mentioned in Chaitanya Chaitamrita also that they, meaning this idea of Spurti is mentioned, I am saying. They saw the world as the place where Lord Spurti manifested to them. Tacha Atmanah Vyatirekena Atmanam api tadanugatam Pashyantaha iti arthaha. And they saw themselves also as the followers of the Lord. Atmanaha avyatirekena means what? They saw themselves also as the followers of the Lord. They did not see themselves as separate or independent. They saw themselves as humble, submissive followers. Tad anugatam. Bhagavan ke anugat. Like that they saw themselves. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Atmanaha means Paramatmanaha sakashat avyatirekena. Vishwasya tad shakti mayatvat iti bhavaha. So this is the standard understanding of Gaudiyas. They saw the world as the manifestation of his energies. So in that sense, it was non-different than the Supreme Lord. Avyatirekena. Avyatirekena means they saw it as non-different from the Lord. Why? Because everything is his energy. Tat Shakti Parinamavad, right? That's our philosophy. Tat Shakti, Tasya Shakti, Shri Krishnasya va Paramatmanah Shakti. Tasya Shakti Parinama. This whole world is transformation, Parinama of Paramatma's Shakti or Lord's Shakti, you can say. So Tat Shakti Parinamavad. That's the philosophy. So it is showing that aspect of Achintya, Bhedabhed. This is how they saw. According to Sridhar Swami, it is clearly demonstrated in this and the following verse that the 9 saintly sons of Rishabdev, known as the Navayogendras, were situated in the highest stage of spiritual perfection called Paramhamsya Charitam. So they were the Paramhamsas. Sridhar Swami said that. According to Sridhar Swami and Jeev Goswami, the word Atmanaha Vyatirekana indicate that the 9 sages saw the universe as being non-different from themselves, as well as non-different from Supreme Lord Krishna. So this whole explanation is in terms of Achintya Bhedabhed, like that. Although it is stated here that the cosmic manifestation is non-different from both the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should not think that either the living entity or the Supreme Lord is material. So although Bhagavato Rupam, although they saw this universe, as non-different than the Supreme Lord, but then the point is Supreme Lord's form is not material, right? That non-difference is only in the sense of this world being manifestation of his energy, transformation of his energy. It is Tatastha Lakshana of the Lord. To be philosophically precise, it is not the Swarupa Lakshana. It is Tatastha Lakshana. So Lord possesses this, but it is not his Swarup Lakshana. That's not how his own form is made up of. His own form is Chinmay. It is made up of Chit Shakti, while the material world is made up of Maya Shakti. It is transformation of Maya Shakti. So that's how it is different. So Prabhupada's disciples have quoted other pramanas from Bhagavatam talking about this idea. So they have written long purport explaining about Achintya Bhedabhed aspect. Finally, they also quote Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's idea that when one has achieved but a partial vision of Paramatma, it is called Atma Darshan. And when even this partial understanding is lacking, it is called Anatma Darshan. So there is Atma Darshan, there is Anatma Darshan. Anatma Darshan means one sees everything only in terms of body, matter. But beyond that, there is Atma Darshan, where one understands the aspect of spirit soul. But then beyond that is complete darshan, where we see that one also understands what is Paramatma, what is Bhagavan, and how the spirit soul is just Amsha, that aspect, like that. So Atma or Anatma darshan is not complete. The complete is where Paramatma darshan is there. There is full understanding of the Supreme Lord this way. So very nice analysis is being made that those who are materialists, they see Lord as completely different. Either they don't believe in his existence, or even if they believe in his existence, they separate the Lord from this world and everything completely. While impersonalists say that everyone is God. So you can see the impersonal transcendentalist emphasize only the oneness between the God and the living entity, whereas the ordinary materialist overemphasize the difference between the God and the living entity. So Materialists talk about the difference completely between God and the living entity, meaning, first of all, they are not interested only in the Supreme Lord. And they see this Lord as disconnected from the material world completely. While impersonalists, they say everyone is God. So they want to talk only about oneness between God and the living entity. So one is focusing on difference, another is focusing on oneness. Nobody is speaking about oneness as well as difference. Those both the ideas, right? So Karmis speak about the negation. Rather, Karmis speak about how to enjoy this world, and Gyanis speak about the negation, right? But then the actual idea is Achintya Bheda Bhed, where neither you have to misunderstand this world as disconnected from the Lord, neither you have to think like Jnana is where you want to just negate everything, negate. And you're not talking about the difference between Lord and the living entity. Only oneness is being talked about. So both are combined in Achintya Bheda Bhed, where we talk about the oneness also and difference also. Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. So that's the point. Okay. Finally, last verse, we will pause with this. अव्याहतेष्टगतया सुरसिद्धसाध्य गन्धर्वयक्षनरकिन्नरनागलोकान् मुक्ताश्चरन्ति मुनिचारणभूतनाथ विद्याधरद्विजगवां भुवनानि कामम्. Yes, Prabhu.
Translation: The 9 Yogendras are liberated souls who travel freely to the planets of the demigods, the perfected mystics, the sadhyas, the heavenly musicians, the yakshas, the human beings, and the minor demigods such as the kinnaras and the serpents. No mundane force can check their free movement, and exactly as they wish, they can travel as well to the worlds of the sages, the angels, the ghostly followers of Lord Shiva, the Vidyadharas, the Brahmanas, and the cows.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yes, so this completes actually the section also till from 10 to 23. The Narada beginning to speak about the Navayogendras. That was the topic. So the second section is completed now. So Navayogendras are described as Avyahateshta Gatayaha. Gatayaha, their moments were Ishta Gatayaha, wherever they want, they could go, unimpeded. Avyahata, Avyahata Ishtagatayaha. So Ishtagataya means whatever they feel, wherever they desire to go, they could go anywhere. Their wandering all over the universe was unimpeded because of their exalted status, because of their great abilities, mystic abilities also, and being the Supreme Lord's pure devotees, they were bestowed with all the opulences as a pure devotee. So they could travel, go anywhere, their progress, their movement was unimpeded. And they could go to the planets of Devatas, Siddhas, Sadhyas, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Naras, Kinnaras, Nagalokas, everywhere. Muktaha, completely liberated, they basically wander everywhere. Charanti, it is said. They wander everywhere. Muni Charana Bhutanath Vidyadhara Dvijagavam Bhuvanani. The abodes of all these people like Munis or Charanas or Lord Shiva's Kailash or Vidyadhara, everywhere they could go. Kamam, just as they desired, they could go. So this was there. Avyahata apratihata ishta abhipreta gatirgesham te. Their gati, their movement was ishta abhipreta, meaning whatever they wanted, wherever they wanted, they could go unobstructed because of their purity, because of their great powers, because of their pure devotional service. They were just not stopped anywhere. Like even Narad Muni, right, was like that. He was not stopped anywhere, actually. He could directly enter any place, everywhere. even in Dwaraka, he could directly enter where Lord is sitting with his queen also. That was Narada's prowess and purity, and that's how Lord loved him. So these personalities are also described in that manner. Okay, so that completes this section. Now text 24 onwards, there will be description of their arrival in Nimis palace and then the questions. So tomorrow, I think, we will begin with even the answers of the Navayogendras. The first inquiry of Nimi and also the answers. So that's an important section. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Session is over. If you need to proceed, please go ahead. Those who have questions, they can stay back. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, Ishwara Prabhu, yes, what is the question?
Prabhu, this Spurti, what exactly is Spurti of Lord? Is it Vibhuti or?
See, Spurti is the internal inspiration within the heart. When you get the inspiration, that is called as Spurti. So now that Spurti, for the pure devotees, wherever they go, they are reminded of Lord's various pastimes. So what acts as Uddipaka, what acts as instigator that for that Spurti may vary. That could be their own internal meditation by which, then certain Spurti here means basically that internal revelation or manifestation of the Lord. Two words are there, Spurti and Sakshatkar. Spurti is inside, Sakshatkar is outside. When you see the Lord in front of you, that's called Sakshatkar. When you see the Lord within the heart, that is called Spurti. So Spurti Sakshatkara, they are talked about as pairs many places. So for the pure devotee, what will act as instigator of that Spurti? It is something, depends, right? Prabhupada would say that just as Prabhupada would give example of a mother sees the child's footwear or child's clothes or anything like that, she immediately remembers her child. So similarly, even from the aspect of material energy, that can immediately have that internal manifestation of Lord's remembrance, Lord's pastimes, and certain particular nature or quality of the Supreme Lord. So that is called as Spurti as such.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, just one more clarification. In text 19, the translation says nine islands of Bharatavarsha. The purport says the 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa.
Yeah, actually, I was also wondering why that kind of translation has been done. So I have just written, Prabhu, to the concerned authorities also, because it is Asya there should mean Bharat Varshasya. And then what are the 9 islands of Bharat Varsha? So they have been recounted here, they have been described here by, just a minute, I'll show that verse. What is the verse number, Prabhu? That is
19, Prabhu, 19.
19. So, yeah, 19. Srila Veera Raghav Acharya has described those, and even others have described. So, I was just wondering that what exactly is that? Because, yeah, 9 Varshas are very popular, everyone is aware of. So you can see here, I'm showing now Veera Raghav Acharya's commentary, where he describes them. You can see. Tesham Bharatanu Janam, Bharata's younger sons, Ekonshat Sankhyanam Madhe, meaning amongst those 99, because Bharata is excluded. So amongst the 99, 9 became the rulers. So what are that? Which islands Ilavarta, Brahmavarta, Aryavarta, Malaya, Ketu, Bhadrasena, Indraspruk, Vidarbha, Kitaka, Namano. So these are the Bharatvarshasya ye Navadvipaha Khandaha. So these are the ones, Prabhu, Ilavarth, Brahmavarth, Aryavarta, and all these. These ones. Even I think you come to Vishwanath Chakravarti, he also says Aryavartadi or something, etc. He speaks. Yeah, you can see. Even Vishwanath Chakravarti. Navadvipa Patayo, he says Navanam Brahmavartadi Bhukhandanam. So the 9 younger sons of Bharat Maharaj, they became the masters of Brahmavarta and Aryavarta and all these 9 islands of Bharatvarsha itself. So personally, I would say that that particular thing that should be checked actually exactly why that is written, or maybe is it written on the basis of certain reference, then we may want to know that reference. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Gopinath Prabhu.
Correction. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
I want to have one clarification when we are talking in the 14th verse.
Yeah.
Prabhu mentioned that Sukadeva Goswami picked up the best of the happenings in different manvantras when you are referring to Vritasura pastime, and how it is talking about pure devotional service, which is different from the other Puranas. My understanding it is that it is Vyasadeva who compiled all these things. So when Prabhu said when Sukadeva Goswami picked up different things, I had little confusion. Could you clarify that, Prabhu?
No, it is certainly that, see, Vyasadeva only taught Shukdev the Bhagavatam. So entire Bhagavatam as we have it, it is Vyasadev's rendition. So it is agreed. Now, within that rendition, when Vyasadeva is given that those particular episodes and all, so now Shukdev, when he is speaking, Shukadeva's explanation of those particular episodes and all that was also like very special. The way he spoke was practically made even Vyasadeva feel like, well, this is not how I taught him, but you know, how amazingly he is explaining this topic. This is spoken in the 19th chapter, first canto. Tattva Sandarbha also speaks about this. So the presentation of Shuka was glorified so much. The sweetness that he brought, the focus of the pure devotional principles that he brought was glorified so much so that even Narada and Vyasadeva sitting in that assembly felt like Ashruta Charitam. That's the word used by Jiva Goswami. Ashruta Charitam. They felt like, oh, we have never heard this. How is he speaking? Wow, what an explanation. It was as if they were hearing for the first time. So we see that that Shukadeva's explanation is also certainly very much spoken as very special explanation like that. So the whole aspect is what like we have Bhagavatam. So it's not like we see it as, okay, it's strictly Vyasadev's rendition only. We don't know what Shukadev spoke or like that. No, it is Shukadev's speaking also, which has been put in the verses by Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, certainly he was the first one to write Bhagavatam. So that way Vyasadeva has taught to Shukadev all these perfect episodes which are placed over there. But then with the kind of explanation that Shukadev brought, with the kind of espousing devotional service which he did, as per Jiva Goswami, it was surprising and it was overwhelming even Narada and Vyasa, so much so that they felt like even we have not been able to explain Bhagavatam like this to him. He is explaining it in so much better way. So that's why he was, I mean, again, this is mercy only on him This is Vyasadeva's mercy on him, in fact. Shukdev, why he is able to explain it in such a way where Vyasadeva also felt that even I have not been able to explain it in this good way, like how he is doing. So Vishwanath Chakravarti also, he has explained this idea in the explanation of the second text of second chapter of first canto, 1-2. Yam pravrajantam anupetam apeta krityam. So in that verse's explanation, you can see there also, Vishwanath Chakravarti explains this, that yes, Vyasadeva indeed felt that he is explaining it much better than how I did, like that. So from that angle, we can see, Prabhu, it's certainly Vyasadeva's chosen episodes and all that. But the explanation of Shukdev was considered even greater than Vyasadeva's explanation, or sweeter than Vyasadeva's explanation. That's why it overwhelmed even Narada and Vyasadeva.
Thank you.
Yes. Nilachal Chandrika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to read. My
Thank you so
question
much.
is, what's the difference between Shramana and a Babaji?
What's the difference between?
A Shramana, sannyasi, and a Babaji?
Okay, Shramana and Sannyasi. Yeah, see, typically,
No, Shramana and Babaji. Shramana means
Shramana and
sannyasi, right?
Babaji. Okay. Yeah, Shramana is a sannyasi, mendicant. Yes. So, Shramana word, that is more typically like, see, words have two kinds of meanings, or words have many kinds of meaning, but two are like prominent. One is yogartha, yogic artha, which is etymological meaning, and another is rudhi artha, which means the conventional meaning. So Shramana words etymological meaning we saw. It has that aspect of Shrama, great effort or labor. But by Rudhi, the word Shramana means somebody who is a sannyasi, he is a mendicant, he is a parivrajaka such personality. That is called a Shramana. That way. So Shramana would typically refer to that fourth ashram called as sannyasa by conventional meaning. While Babaji, which is the idea, especially within Gaudiyas and in the regions of, Gaudiyas. So Babaji was, in fact, beyond even the sannyasi. It was a platform which was higher than even the sannyasis. So Paramhamsa it was. So Babaji is supposed to be at the level of Paramhamsa. Like four kinds of sannyasis are described even in Bhagavatam, third canto, Kutichak, Bahudhak, Parivrajaka, and finally we talk about Paramhamsa, that aspect. So now within sannyas, you can go up to Parivrajaka, meaning sannyasi can be like sort of Kutichak, he can also be Bahudhak, he can make hermitage and then food he can receive, or Bahudak, he can go to fixed places and do madhukari. And Parivrajaka, third one, he does not depend on some food coming from certain family or he going and begging, which is Kutichak Bahudak. He does not even depend on that. Parivrajaka, he just wanders everywhere and whatever he gets, he accepts that. And even beyond that was considered the Paramhamsa. So Babaji typically in our tradition, he is considered to be beyond even the sannyasis, which is Parivrajakacharyas. So it's a very exalted platform where you don't have to follow any sort of rules. Even as a sannyasi, there may be certain rules, nitya karmas that one may have to follow. Aspects of like sandhya and all, they have to be followed even by sannyasis, at least by Vaishnav sannyasis. Mayavadis don't follow even sandhya or all that stuff also as a sannyasi. But I mean, that's not expected. They may be doing, but that's not expected. Shikha Sutra Tyaga, and that's Mayavad. You get rid of Shikha also, you get rid of Sutra also. So if there is no Sutra, meaning Brahman thread, then what Gayatri you will do? So all that is within sannyas. So, but Vaishnav sannyasis and all, the Paramhansa, there it's considered like so high, even higher than the mendicants, where one is 24 hours just absorbed in bhajan. One is not expected to follow any sort of duties and all. It's just 100% focus on Krishna and remembrance of Krishna. Typically, they would take the Nirjan bhajan. Such Paramhamsas would take the practice of solitary bhajan, where 24 hours they want to absorb in Nama bhajan and all. So that is a Paramhams Babaji. That's how they are supposed to be. So that's the idea in Gaudiyas. So
So they are
highest
out of the
sannyas,
Varna ashram also.
yeah, they are out of Varnashram.
Uh,
Even in a way, sannyasis also, although
okay.
it is fourth ashram, sannyasis are also considered out of Varnashram only. Although it's fourth ashram, but then they are considered to be one who is now beyond that aspect of karma.
Mm.
But this Paramhamsa is even beyond that also. It is considered to be like highest. Sannyasis are known as hamsas, but these are like Paramahamsas,
Mm.
where you don't have absolutely any rules, regulations of any sort. It's just 100% remembrance of Krishna by Nama Bhajan or Kirtanam or like that. That's
So Parivrakacharya could be involved in preaching and moving around, but like Goshanandi,
yeah,
whereas
they are.
they are Bhajananandi, like that.
Yeah,
Babajis.
typically Babajis are supposed to be like that, Bhajananandis. But in our Sampradaya, examples of Jagannadas Babaji or Gaur Kishordas Babaji,
Yeah.
who typically show that path of Bhajanananda, but then they were also like they were associating with personalities like Bhakti Vinod Thakur or Bhakti
Yeah.
Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and they inspired that aspect of preaching and all like that. So, yeah, otherwise, Paramhams Babaji should take to bhajana, and especially that kind of bhajan where he is not, he's just 24 hours remembering Krishna's holy names.
Mm. Okay, clear,
This
clear. Thank you so much, Baldev.
Parivrajakacharyas, you will find that they have to have saffron robes, kashaya vastra, they have to carry
Yeah.
danda, sannyas danda. But Paramhans
Yeah.
Babaji, they wear white, they don't even wear saffron. So it's
So our Shad Goswamis, they are wearing white.
yeah, they were wearing white.
Yeah, so they come under even beyond Paramhamsas.
So that is actually Babaji Vesh only. It's just that, yeah, it's just that they did not call themselves as that, but that is what it is. It is Babaji Vesh. All the Goswamis are also called Babajis only. Yeah, even in Vraja, they were called as Roop Baba, Sanatan Baba, like that only. Meaning,
Thank you, Roj. Thank you so
that
much.
system, yeah, that system
Yeah.
became more organized after Bhakti Vinod and Bhakti Vinod Thakur, or during that time it became more organized. But the idea is similar only. As Vaishnavas,
Mm.
the sannyas system that Bhakti Siddhanta brought up, that was seen as a great surprise because Vaishnavas would traditionally take up Paramhans order only. So when Bhaktisiddhanta made that change by bringing the Parivrajakaacharya aspect, that was seen as a great surprise. That okay, why Parivrajakaacharya instead of Babaji, Paramhams Babaji? So Bhaktisiddhanta made that distinction and change because the Babaji, although order is supposed to show highest purity and highest absorption in Krishna, it had become degraded because of influence. It had become very much degraded, and those Babajis were not having good character and all. So, in order to get rid of that conception, so Bhakti Siddhant, he said that okay, as Vaishnavas, let us remain strict, devout Parivrajakaacharya sannyasis, and also for the aspect of preaching. this is the best way we can serve rather than becoming Babaji's like that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
in our tradition, that Babaji is quite a natural thing to follow. So now we follow Bhakti Siddhanta and then Prabhupada further. So this is the right mode. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. It was a very good
Hare
question.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for
Dandavat
such
Pranam.
a enlightening session, Prabhuji. I'm having a very, you may call silly question as well, but
No problem.
I just wanted to know, we often hear that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also used to listen to Sridhar Swami's commentaries. So, Swamiji.
Yes, Mataji, your voice got a little bit cut. What did you say after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to listen to Sridhar Swami's comments?
Sridhar Swami. Who was Sridhar Swami, and how are we connected in his? Are we connected to his lineage? And he precedes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to read his commentaries and considered those commentaries as very authentic. So I would like to know more about Sridhar Swami, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. In this series, in this particular course that I'm doing now, in the first session, I spoke on this elaborately. So what you can do is on the channel that all the recordings are there, you can hear the first session, Mataji. In that, I have spoken elaborately about Sridhar Swami, who was he, and which era he belongs to, and why did Lord Chaitanya say that his commentary was the most authentic. So Sridhar Swami, he is basically a great acharya. He comes in the tradition of this Rudra Sampradaya. As per Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he comes in Rudra Sampradaya tradition. And he was certainly predating Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wrote a beautiful commentary called Bhavartha Deepika, which popularized Bhagavatam everywhere. And he was worshipper of Lord Ramachandra and also Lord Nasimha. He resided in Varanasi for a long time. And in fact, he was sometime connected to also Shankar Sampradaya. So this Sridhar Swami is but actually a Vaishnava. He is a very great Vaishnava, although he was connected to Shankar Sampradaya, meaning the Mayavadi Sampradaya before. So his commentary is considered to be the most authentic commentary on Bhagavatam, and we all follow. So I have spoken in some detail in the first session. If you can see, it's a very, very good session on history of Srimad Bhagavatam, which all commentators existed before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there you may get some more context. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Is that PowerPoint available for us to use, Prabhu? It was a very nice PowerPoint. I heard that.
Actually, I'm working on, it's like a work in progress, Prabhu. I'm working on basically a book on that section. So, for now, I have not shared it that with anyone. But, soon I will share that. I'm just making a full document on the basis of that.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay, then. Thank you all very much. I think we can continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Thank you
jai.
very much.
Thank you.